Greetings. It is time for us to talk about the new Megadeth song. It's entitled Super Collider. The album's due out a little bit later on this year, Cover Killer Nation, and let me just preface this. Remember the review of 13? Remember how glowing we were of that? Remember how it was a pretty awesome album? Things have definitely changed since then. Dave and I got divorced. Inside joke. Yeah, things have definitely changed with Dave Mustaine over the past couple of years. He's definitely seemed to go off the deep end in many of our minds, but hey, we like him for the music, not necessarily for the asinine things that come out of his mouth. So, what do we think about Super Collider? What do I think about Super Collider? Let's talk about Super Collider. Well, if you remember, there was a time in the 1990s whenever Megadeth was not super duper thrash metal, whenever they actually kind of bordered on a little bit more traditional metal, and then kind of just experimented a little bit with something a little bit more radio friendly, a little bit more commercial friendly, with albums such as Cryptic Writings and Risk. Well, with this song, with this album, I'm assuming, or maybe just with this song, they are definitely aiming for something a little bit more unconventional for them. Something a little bit more traditional in the heavy metal sense. Something that almost sounds like Dave Mustaine attempting to do the new wave of British heavy metal. Yeah, it's almost like he's trying to turn back the clock all the way back to the late 1970s, the early 1980s, channeling bands such as, Saxon and Iron Maiden, Diamond Head, things like that, in order to try to create this weird Megadeth style of this. Now, the lyrics in this song are, well, not exactly the most brilliant thing that you're going to hear. It's not exactly classic Dave Mustaine gold, but then again, this isn't something where he's ranting and raving about something political. He's actually talking more so about personal friendships, personal things, and how, things can take you higher until it explodes like a super collider, whatever the fuck he means by that. But at any rate, this is a track that definitely channels a lot of old school charm, and I kind of actually have to say that this is a nice little turn. This is a nice little change. There's a lot of people, and I can guarantee you this, there's a lot of people that are very, very upset with this song. There's a lot of people that listen to this and think to themselves, well, let me tell you, if I didn't like what Megadeth was doing before, if I didn't like 13, if I didn't like the 2000s era material, if I didn't find that to be a return to the thrash form that I wanted them to be in, then you're really pissed off about this song. This is something that's definitely not your cup of tea. It's not your ball of yarn. It is not your earwax. This is definitely something that is more so the piss that is in your toilet bowl. However, for me, somebody who has seen all of Megadeth's different eras and has kind of grown to respect even the Cryptic Writings and Risk era, because Cryptic Writings was my first Megadeth album that I had purchased, and I really have a fond affinity for it, and Risk I've even been able to find some real gems on. This really isn't that bad. In fact, I actually kind of dig this track. Yeah, the lyrics are simplistic, but the riffs are pretty cool. It's got a nice flow to it. Nice construction to it. Yeah, it seems a little conventional. Yeah, it's probably something that could easily get on a radio station or with a music video could end up on the TV. The demon TV, oh no, so evil. But I actually like this track. I think that this is pretty cool, and if this is a sampling of what the album is going to behold, I hope not all of the album is like this, because then it'll just kind of be really dull, because too much of one thing is just too much. However, if this is kind of like a curious case where they're deciding to switch things up a little bit, and they sound remotely kind of like this, in the form that they are able to, really make it catchy, really make it hooky, really make it really appeasing for the ear, then I think this album's going to be fine. I think that we maybe have worried for nothing, kind of like with the Black Sabbath, with Black Sabbath's God is Dead coming out. We were low. We were worried about 13, and now that apprehension's kind of behind us. I'm still a little apprehensive about this because this is just one track and this is kind of off base, so it's hard to tell if this is just one song, the lead single, or if this is a true taste of what this whole album's going to be about. This really avoids any sort of, talking of the political or of the religious nature, which we know that Dave has now affiliated himself with. Oh boy. And we don't know if there's going to be a lot of stuff on the album that's talking about that. But for right now, let's take it for what we have. Let's take it for the one track. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a good song. You may disagree with me. That's cool. But I really like the flow, and I like the throwback. Yes. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. Do you like this song? Do you hate this song? I feel like there's something on my face.